Okay, now we're going to do how to create text as a clipping mask. So a clipping mask, basically it cuts out things around it. So this will also work for shapes. So some of you really liked, which I do too, the where the picture kind of bleeds off, or it kind of looks like it's I'm trying to think of what the term would be, but it's the image is kind of inside another image. So like an outline of a face, and then it kind of bleeds into, or there's, I'm trying to remember what the one was that Micah had. I think it was a buffalo that then bled out into, or it had a kind of a picture of the forest inside of it or something like that. So clipping masks are kind of the way to do that, and that will be something that we kind of get into more later, but I just wanted to show you how you could do that quickly with text. And you probably can hear the thunder. It is raining really hard here today. So first of all, I'm going to get on my picture layer here. And I already practiced this, so I think that's why it's kind of over there, because it does the clipping for me. So I'm going to pick kind of a thick, chunky font. And let's see. Probably want something kind of sans serif-y. This is actually probably a good way to use dingbats or ornaments if you want to have an ornament with a picture inside it, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Let's see, I just want a fat font. I didn't like it with grindstone, so I am going to we'll do rest, and we're going to make it really big. Hopefully that's not too big, and we'll adjust it later. That might be too gritty. So I didn't realize it had a big hole in the middle. Let's go back. We'll try grindstone. And I'm going to make it smaller so it fits. So you can see that's kind of a fat font. I'm actually going to stretch it, which is a little bit of a no-no. In order to stretch it just in one direction, I'm going to hit shift and drag, because I just kind of want it taller so that you can really see what we're going to be doing here. I don't necessarily recommend it, but if you're doing artsy stuff, maybe it's not such a bad thing, right? So now we're going to make sure that our text is as tight as we want it. Make sure we've got a good space there. This font is actually laid out so that the letters are pretty close to each other. They kind of form into each other, so that's good. I think that's nice and tight. Some of the other fonts will have a little more space, and so you might have to adjust those a little bit. And then what you're going to do is go over to your type layer here. Actually, I'm going to actually put words in here. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Since we have less words, that'll actually work out better for us. And then hit return. So that was Command T is how I got the transform tool, if you remember from other things that we've done. And then I'm going to take the road and drag that layer underneath my picture. So then I'm going to go up to well, I thought it was edit. It's probably layer. Create clipping mask. And now I have text with the picture inside it. So, flash flood warning. Excellent. So now you can still adjust your image behind it. So I can drag this up and make sure, because I mean, it says the road, so I better have the road in it, right? And I can actually move this over a bit. So there you go. Ta-da! That's an easy way to get an image inside. And you could do, you could put different things on your image in the background before you clipped it, and do gradients or whatever. You could make it really funky. So you have, this gives you a lot of options for doing some creative type art. I'm gonna make a copy of this layer. I'm gonna unclip it from, well, it doesn't want to do that. So I'm actually gonna undo this. Or no, I've got a better idea, because you can still edit this, which is really great, because then you can, if you misspelled something, or you changed your mind about how you wanted it to look, or you wanted a different font because it just wasn't showing up the way you wanted it to, you can always go back and change it. So what I'm going to show you real quick is if you used, we're going to find a dingbat situation here. And it's still, you're going to want to look for something that's pretty significant in terms of space. So something really heavy, maybe like some of these Christmas trees would work. And you can see now how all of that kind of getting it out of whack messed this up. So I'm going to put this back to a regular font size. I'm going to change this back to auto, and you can get it back to normal kind of by looking at these different pieces within the character map or character palette to kind of see where you stretch things out, kind of put it back to normal. But then I do want that larger, so I'm going to do that, like, let's try 200. Oops. It doesn't like that. How about, there we go. That's not quite big enough either, is it? So we'll go 500. Go for it. You can see my computer's a little bit slow today. It doesn't want to. Here, I'm going to, do you remember how to change which layer you're adjusting? If you right click, it gives you a drop down of all the layers that you're on top. So I'm going to click on add, and I'm just going to use the arrow keys, because for some reason every time I grab it, it wants to go back to the clipping path. So I'm going to drag my trees down. And now I can go back in. Oops. Stop going down. There, that'll work. And then I'm going to go back in and drag these down. Drag my image down so that it fills my space. And maybe I want more of the mountains since I'm doing the trees now. But so that's how you could do that with dingbats and make it into a shape instead of just text. Okay, so hope these tutorials are helpful for you guys. I'm sorry we didn't get to them in class, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with. All right, there you go.